Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As the title probably already suggests, I'm putting my M3 Competition X-Drive away for some of the winter. The main reason being is last week Audi UK press department very kindly delivered an RS6, and that RS6 is now on winter tyres, and as you can see outside, well, it's very wintry, and I really don't think, I might whisper this so the M3 doesn't hear, but I really don't think there's a better winter car than an RS6 on winter tyres. I was scrolling through Instagram just after the RS6 was delivered last week, and I noticed that Brad from the Shmuseum had posted a picture of his Abarth 124 in one of the lifts, and I jokingly commented below saying, have you got room for an M3? Within no word of a lie, about 2 minutes, Tom the car dude from the Shmuseum dropped me a WhatsApp saying, were you serious? Do you want somewhere to store your M3? And I'm quite excited because I haven't been to the Shmuseum since last October, so that's 14 months ago. And I know so much has changed since then. The Shmuseum YouTube channel is brilliant. In many ways I prefer it to Tim's main channel. Don't tell Tim that. The logistics of just running that place is really high, and I think Brad and Tom do a fantastic job, and they do a brilliant job on camera as well. So it'd be great to go down and see them, have some lunch. It'd be great to get the car in the Shmuseum for, let's say, 6 weeks or something. Let this weather pass, and by that time it will almost be time to give the wonderful RS6 back. And it also alleviates some miles on this car, because although I'm getting a touring hopefully in March or April time next year, I am kind of limited as to how many miles I do in this car in that year. Tony's asked me to keep it below 10,000 for residuals, and I'm almost about to clock over 8,000 miles, which doesn't sound like a lot for a car that's what, 8-9 months old, but when you consider how much I've been away this year and how many other press cars I get my hands on throughout the year, it's a fair amount. I've taken it abroad, did that fantastic road trip in it, and recently, as in a couple of weeks ago, took it on a track day at Goodwood, so it has done some stuff. Wow, look at that, that is beautiful, incredible colours. Hopefully the GoPro's picking that up. I will see you at the Shmuseum. We'll have a quick look around, see what they've got, and see what they've been up to. We've arrived at the Shmuseum. Tom the car dude is just opening the shutter. That looks like Brad. Oh, he's on camera. Here we go. Oh, this is pretty cool. Wow, it's changed so much since I've been here. The lifts weren't even in when I was here last. Right, I'm gonna dump my car right here, and we're gonna go for a little adventure. M3 inside, still got some snow from my house, about an hour away. And I've got Tom the car dude next to me.
How you doing? Welcome back.
Good, mate.
Lovely to see you again. It's been a little over a year now.
It has been a while, yes. I think just over a year. We've got Brad behind the camera. I'm actually going to run up to the camera now and grab the camera off Brad, because those two are going to walk me around the new and improved Shmuseum.
Let's start on the end. I mean,
Yep.
a couple of cars that are going to be very familiar to you and probably a lot of your audience, I guess, but obviously the GT8, which you spent a lot of time in this one.
I did. I've probably done 2,000 or 3,000 miles in that.
Yeah, and it's just a brilliant machine. I fell in love with it the moment I first drove it, and I think Tim's trying to take the keys off me now just so I spend a little bit less time in it.
Yes.
And then obviously the car that inspired this was, of course, Tim's first ever Vantage V8 Roadster.
The story of this is amazing still. I think that it was a car he had sold, and then years down the line found the exact same car and bought it back.
It's a lovely story. Obviously, do check out the video on Tim's channel, but it's hilarious that 10 years later, or 11 years later, buying the car back, one of the first things Tim did is instinctively reach down into the pouch under the seat, and there was still a letter from his mum. all that time ago. So proving it's definitely his car.
Tim's car.
675, again, a car that's very special to me because this is the first ever Shmuseum I went in with you.
It is.
You were driving at Goodwood, and I
Circa
somehow
what,
managed
2018, 19?
It was around, I think it was 2018, yeah. So, and I managed to cheekily squeeze myself in for a quick ride with yourself, and
I love that car, and I've also, in fact, those two, I've spent a lot of time in, done a lot of miles in, and that one, I think in end of 2020, Lou, my other half, and I drove that back from somewhere, Germany, I think.
Okay,
we had a great trip in that.
You can use it every day, and it's not uncomfortable, it's not a problem.
No, not at all.
And
Very
then
nice.
a car that, once again, you're familiar with, as we talked about on the Black Series tour, the C63 AMG Black Series, which is largely the same as you last saw it, other than it has a few more horsepower now, just thanks to the guys at GAD Tuning and a remap, and some BMC air filters, now about 40 horsepower up. So, and about 100 Newton meters of torque at like 2,000 RPM. So it's...
That's impressive for an NA engine.
Yeah,
so what's that then? Nearly 600-ish or something?
So it's 525 horsepower and 700 or 691 Newton meters of torque.
Wow.
So it's nearly Aventador levels of torque.
Okay.
So it's
because it really needed more power and torque when I drove that last.
Yeah, exactly. And I might have took that out in the snow yesterday, and interesting, should we say.
Yeah, unlike you, Tom.
Yeah, very unlike me, right?
And we have a Ford Duo.
We have the Ford pairing.
Cool. We do have three here, obviously the Ford GT being the third, but that's currently away for service. So.
Yes. So, yeah, I guess that's a good time to say that there's, what, 3 cars missing from here?
3 or 4 cars missing at the moment still, so we're not fully full, which is why we have room
for the M3.
To take the M3 on for now. But
oh, and also there's lots of work going on in the background here, so we might hear a few bits.
Stuff that you wouldn't have seen last time you were here. The whole mezzanine in general, and some weird things that Tim likes to collect up top.
Yes, which we'll look at the end, because I think that'll
be a good little bonus clip, shall we say. But yeah, we obviously have the 1 of 50 Focus RS Heritage Edition, and then the GT500 Carbon Track Pack Edition, which has recently been brought over from the USA, which I'm kind of avoiding at the moment because the wheels are carbon fibre and they're about $8,000 each.
Wow.
And I don't want to take that risk.
And they're probably on Cup 2s, are they?
They are on Cup 2s, although I did take it out the other day just to replace the rears because they were quite low and needed replacement. So it now has a fresh set of Cup 2s on it.
Oh, yes, I saw that on the channel.
Being from the USA, it also has remote start.
I'll tell you what, I really hope that picked up your reaction there.
I got such a fright then, I was like, someone's unlocked it. Oh no, wait a second. Wow.
So yeah, the beauty of a car from America, started from the key, so you don't need to get into a cold car.
Wow.
So in conditions like this, it's a little bit noisy, let's turn her off. But in conditions like this, how good does that sound? That's in quiet mode.
That's impressive. Well, so, I mean, it's the first time I've seen one in the flesh, and it is a beautiful car. Yeah. There are some questionable panel gaps going on.
There are. But we'll brush over that.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's just gonna,
Ford USA build quality.
Yeah. Just down there. Oh yeah, look at the way that. Yeah, and down there. But anyway, we'll leave it at that because otherwise, look at those wheels. I mean, they are.
Focus on.
Let's focus on those.
Focus on the good bits. Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
Sorry, Tim. But yeah, what a car. Obviously, all liveried up still from the Gumball.
Yeah, which will have to come off at some point. But I'm sure we'll get you out in this. And I know you're going to love this car because it's far more European to drive than you would expect. It's not as American as you anticipate. So I think you'll love this.
That's a very good description. Something you want to hear about American cars.
Yeah. Do we go from one extreme to the other? We go from crazy 700 horsepower, is it 700?
760.
760 horsepower Mustang to 1.2 Clio with probably like 60 horsepower.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a beast that one is.
And there's obviously a bit of a storyline behind this.
There is. It's effectively the same as Tim's first ever car. Now, we do have Tim's first ever car, however, it happens to be in a cube after it was in a small accident and crushed with one of its new owners. So we bought
you found that for him, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of where you're... You've known Tim for years, but that's where your proper relationship kind of started.
100%. I mean, I knew of Tim and we bumped into each other through you. Yeah. But that was when, I think we can say mine and Tim's friendship really started. And I guess after helping him with that and a couple of other bits, he was like, do you want a job? And here I am. So...
I just applied. Mine was quite normal.
Yeah. You applied for a job, got an interview.
I just applied and
so
the standard way.
I did the I'm a Celebrity way in and did all the challenges to get the job first. But then we have the ultimate Renault Clio in the Phase 2 V6.
And this is like your sort of baby project. Tim essentially gave you the keys and said, here's the car.
Yeah.
It needs some work.
I mean,
me and
Tim paid for it, but me and you bought this car whilst Tim was in Dubai.
Yes.
Tim wasn't even here when this car arrived. He never saw it until it was done and finished, basically.
Yeah.
So this car was black gold, one of the more common colours for them, not as common as the blue, but one of the more common colours. And it had been sat unloved for about 3 or 4 years, needed quite a lot of work and recommissioning, shall we say. So given that it needed quite a lot of paint and quite a few bits, we went the full hog, full colour change into the acid yellow. It now has a Quaife limited slip differential, KWV-free coilovers, BMC air filters, it's pure motorsport, rose-mounted top joints and bump steer kit.
The list is endless, isn't it?
Power flex bushes.
So it's basically better than it ever was new.
Yes, 100%. Every component that required replacement has been upgraded where possible. So it's, I like to call it OEM plus, maybe plus plus. But again, this is one you need to drive. And speaking,
you should do a cold start.
I think we need to, because one thing I didn't mention is this also has the TTV lightweight flywheel, which gives you quite a nice noise on startup. So
yeah, I'd come around and capture this one properly.
Yeah.
Please make sure it's out of gear.
Yeah, no, she's in neutral. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Quite good noise, right?
It's that zing as it turns on. It's just
and so bassy, hey?
Yeah,
so special.
It's a really lovely note. And
and that's the Quicksilver Sport exhaust on that. That was another thing.
Quicksilver Sport exhaust.
It smells good.
Old school.
Another modification.
It smells old school. What a cool looking little car. Yeah, we'll have to get that at some point.
100%. And I mean, I think this is a car that will suit you rather well as well, because you love and are very handy in a go-kart.
Yeah.
This is effectively an adult's go-kart.
Yes.
You know, no traction control, no stability control.
Yeah.
It's you and the car, very short wheelbase, engine towards the back.
Yeah.
So
what are the main things you've done with it?
Why does it look broken? Let's start with that.
Quite clearly, the suspension is not standard. The arch gap probably used to be like that big.
Yep.
So I've stuck it on air suspension, so I can have adjustability, which, to be fair, there's a lot of debate about whether air suspension's good. And I think back in the day, it used to be pretty like hit or miss, but the technology now is so good that it actually drives a lot better than it did stock. Rotiform wheels, a few sort of basic engine stuff, suspensions, brakes, usual bits. And yeah, that's about it. And some more changes coming, hopefully early next year.
It looks really good. And you recently
took it out for some winter photos with all the Christmas lights in central London, and might have got caught in the snowstorm that obviously we have surrounding us. So yeah, obviously had to go roof down in the middle of London for probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So that was good fun. TVR 350S?
TVR 350C.
350C, that's it.
Okay.
I don't know my TVRs.
No, I'm not massively familiar with them.
So they're odd things.
This belongs to our friends at Dub Customs.
Okay.
This is one of their cars. They've sort of, I think, restoration, is it?
Yeah, they've been going through. This was in a complete state. It's a lot nicer than it once was.
Okay.
Again, they've just got some work going on at their place, so it's currently here in storage. One of the things,
people taking liberties, taking advantage of you guys.
Yeah, I mean who would just ask to come and drop and store a car for like a month?
I mean, the cheek of them.
Yeah, but one thing I love about these, and always have, is if you don't know, there's no door handle.
Oh yes, it's under the wing mirror.
It is. You've got a little button under here which pops them open when it's unlocked. And yeah, and the same on the inside. There's no door handle on the inside either.
Right. Okay.
You've got some unmarked buttons somewhere in the centre of the dash, which are for the windows and the door.
That's so TVR.
So again, if you didn't know, you'd never get out of it.
No, that's great.
Yeah, it's quite subtle, isn't it? It's a subtle shade
really
of orange.
Subtle.
The brightest paint, I think, available for a car, essentially. It's around 2005.
Yeah, it's actually illegal to paint a car this colour within the EU because it's reserved for emergency service vehicles.
Wow.
However, with Britain leaving the EU, the owner went back to Lotus and said, about that colour, and
I want it now.
Here we are.
But it's pretty cool. So this is the final Lotus Elise Cup 250 ever built. The final of the final of the final. Hence, its very fitting number plate.
And probably very expensive number plate. I dread to think what that's worth.
It's certainly not cheap.
And I'm guessing the one above is the same owner.
It is indeed, yeah.
Judging by the brand and the plate.
This is the owner's first ever car. So his first ever car was a Lotus Elise Sport 190.
Yeah.
This one has been fully restored at Lotus into a full carbon body, essentially. Every panel is carbon fibre, which is quite hard to see. It's a really dark tint.
Yep.
but a very, very, very special car. And to have these two together with the matching first and final plate is just a combo that we couldn't say no when he said about dropping them down here. We were like, we need to have these here. So.
And first is actually signed on the dashboard by Elisa,
No.
the girl after which the car was named.
Wow.
So yeah, unfortunately it's stuck up there at the moment, but you'll have to take our word for it. But she has signed the dash. Here we have an XJ220S that belongs to Max of Gumball 3000. Again, just in storage here for a little while. As you said, cheeky people, no, but we love having things like this around because it's so unusual. When else would you get to get up close and personal with one?
No. I'd actually like to try something with this.
I would. I think
we're going to have a swap,
we're going the same place.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take the camera from you.
Oh, no.
We are thinking the same thing.
Go and join Tom.
Okay.
I've never come across a car before that I said takes up this much real estate. I mean, it's huge.
Yep.
It's a ginormous thing, which you would imagine means it's quite spacious and roomy inside.
Yeah. I mean, look at the length of it. It's got to be, it's more than 5 meters long. It's 7 series.
Why don't you hop on in? Now, let me grab the door for you, and then Brad, you're probably going to want to come and
laugh at me.
So that's as much as the door opens.
Okay.
Just to point out.
Brilliant.
So that's your lot.
I'll take my hat off to give me half a chance.
That will give you a couple of millimeters of headroom. And best of luck.
Yeah, there's not really a way to attack it. You just have to.
It's generally one leg in, yeah, and then back, and then the other leg in.
Oh my goodness gracious me! Oh no! Oh.
So you're kind of in, but can you see?
Nothing. I mean, like I'm looking. That's my vision there. I'm looking down. I can see your car, but anything beyond it. Oh wow, this has kind of broken my heart because
it's safe to say you couldn't drive one of these.
I could not drive this thing. Oh my god, the ergonomics in here.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
But it's still super cool.
But do you want to know what's the biggest challenge now?
Is getting back out.
Is getting back out.
No.
In fairness, you've done that quite gracefully. Fair play.
Wow. Okay, well, at least I can say I've been in an XJ220 now.
Yeah, yeah.
The first and the last time?
First and last time, yeah, it wasn't particularly pleasant, but it is super cool, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Look at it. What a beast. Imagine doing 200 miles an hour in that.
I don't want to.
Or 200, what was it, 212, 213?
I feel like it was about that, maybe 220 on the S, or was it slightly less because of the wing? I can't actually remember now. But again, it's hilarious. You saying the ergonomics,
yeah.
You guys may not be able to see this from here, but with the addition of the wing, if you have a look, you've got these little stops underneath because the boot lid opens straight into the wing.
Oh, of course it
so
does.
your opening for the boot is that. So if you've got anything quite large to get in, forget it. It's actually got a half decent sized boot.
I have to say, it's panel capsule, they're not brilliant. They're better than...
Tim, I'm sorry. I'm
Tim.
sorry.
That's hilarious. Wow.
But yeah,
Nice.
it's a car from the 90s, I guess.
So what were these running? About 600 horsepower, right?
Somewhere in that region, yeah. Obviously, this is an S, which there were 6 factory cars free done after the event. This was one of the free conversions, so done at Donlaw. So yeah, quite a bit of power.
So from 600 horsepower back in the day, which was outrageous, to essentially 1,000 horsepower.
Yes, 1,000 horsepower hybrid Ferrari, which Tim generally dailies when he's around.
Wow.
Which is a bit insane to daily something like this, but with the hybrid, with the e-drive, it's lovely because you can go for a sleepy little village or go through town and not disturb anyone. No one knows you're there.
I do like it, and I've watched Tim's collection video and his various videos on it, and it's the only time I've ever seen, let's say, a modern Tim in the past 3 or 4 years where he's had access to craziness for years. You can actually see his genuine reaction, thinking, oh my God, it's just so fast.
It's phenomenal. We've got a seat cover on here at the moment because I've been driving it in jeans. So
look at this.
But yeah, it's absolutely stunning inside.
Wow.
You know, he did nail it with the blue Electrico and the creamer interior.
They've come a long way, though, Ferrari interiors in the last 5-6 years, haven't they? Like, they really have modernised and
no more sticky buttons and things not quite.
Yeah. Or Atari 64 graphics and things. So that's
all that.
kind of,
it's absolutely
it is
amazing.
Very cool. And spec on it he has nailed.
This is another one. Do you know what? I'm actually not sure. I'd love you to drive this one as well. I'm not sure what you'd think of it. I'm not sure how excited you'd be by it.
Okay.
But the noise and the way it takes off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1,000 horsepower, but immediate with that electric.
Deploys.
Yeah, it just goes. There's no lag, there's no waiting. It just takes off. And yeah, it's quite impressive with the way it does that.
Very impressive. And then we have the Senna.
One of probably the craziest car of the collection, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
That is the Ferrari walk-away locking, which you cannot switch off, which means as soon as you're 1.5 meters away from the car, it will lock itself. So, which is brilliant when you've left someone in the passenger seat to go into the petrol station and pay for fuel and the alarm goes off. So,
yeah.
Not,
So if
not
you
the
don't
ideal
feel like
feature.
a big enough,
Yes, yeah.
you've also got that. It's like, I managed to park my car without anyone seeing that I've got a Ferrari.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get out of it, it's like, babe,
Yeah, and then the alarm goes off and draws attention to yourself. Yeah,
but Tim probably secretly loves that. But yeah.
But yeah, speaking of drawing attention to yourself, you can't get much crazier than this, really.
No. And it's funny because the Senna, I mean, when they launched it, and I still think it's quite ugly. But,
it is.
But actually, it's kind of grown on me a little bit.
Yeah, I think as most of these things do, they're quite polarizing when we first see them, and as you do get used to them. But we tend to describe this as scientifically beautiful.
Yes,
because it's
everything there for a purpose.
Exactly, every curve, every flap is there for a reason,
Yeah.
and that reason is simply getting around the track as quickly as
You've
possible.
got to love purposeful flaps. There's just nothing better. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
There was no need for the look, Tom. There was no need.
I can't see. I said my jokes are so bad that I have to laugh at them.
I feel there was a need for the look. I'm just saying. Again,
then
another car you're very familiar with.
Yeah. And I have to say, probably my favourite in the collection.
Yeah.
Not for all the right reasons, but
Okay.
just as in like, okay, the 675 is a Scout Boy. I love the way that drives.
Yeah.
But I just love this as a thing. It's just, it's just silly. It's loud. It's fast. It does have dynamics there.
Yes.
But not modern dynamics.
No, again, we call it a sporty GT.
Sporty GT.
It's something you can go and do a 1,000-mile trip in, get out the other side very comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you came across some mountain passes along the
You'd
way,
have fun. And that's what
you'd
we
have
did with
perfect
that
fun.
Jeep with the AMG Series 2 or whatever it was called. I love my time in this car. I love the wing. I love the doors. The driving position's not too bad. The engine is obviously the masterpiece, the heart of it. But
and the gearbox.
And the gearbox. Yeah.
Which is it's slightly old now, but what I love with this is there's always one more downshift.
Yes.
You think you're down to first and you're not, you're only in second.
Yeah.
There's always one more.
And the colour, it's unique.
Yes.
Tim, at the time, I was like, you're crazy doing that.
Yep.
But now, I mean, it's iconic, isn't it?
It is. It's and actually there's another one that's been resprayed into Mystic Blue as well.
Yes.
I'm not going to say they've copied him, but certainly been inspired by.
By
And there is now another Mystic Blue SLS Black Series out there.
Lovely.
And then we go on to the only car in here with winter tyres on.
Yes.
Yes. Which, again, you might have seen a video of this out in the snow yesterday before the winters were fitted, and
Yeah.
they're needed, shall we
The
say.
one where you were driving that got awfully close to the digger out
It
there.
was miles away. Honestly, Tim, it was far away. I promise it was. Yeah, no, it had to be done, right? Four-wheel drive, snow.
I mean, I loved it. We talked off camera earlier on about these. Obviously, the predecessor, the FF. I arguably think the FF is a better looking car.
Do you know? So I prefer. This is me. I prefer the front end of the FF and the rear end of the Lusso. I think that would be the perfect.
The interior of the Lusso, country mile.
Night and day. Night and day. But yeah, you're very familiar with the FF. I mean,
yes.
You used to take Tim to the dentist in that.
Yes. Oh, and I took it through the Dolomites on my birthday.
Oh, yes.
I was talking the other day to someone about this. I took his FF off-road that time. He didn't dare me. He said it would go. We're in a car park and there was this bank, and he said it will go up there. And I was like, no, it won't. He said, go on then. It's like, I'm not responsible for this at all.
That's the thing. Sometimes Tim tells you something and you just have to go, right, this is on you.
Yes.
I would not choose to do this. You're telling me to do this.
Yeah, it's your call.
Yes.
Nice. Cool. Well, maybe we'll have a quick look upstairs.
I think we'll give you a bit of a tour up there because Tim's got some interesting items up there, shall we say?
Yeah. And it's a nice perspective looking down on the collection from up there as well. It's obviously a very different view.
So welcome to our mezzanine. And you understand Tim has a bit of a swatch obsession, right?
Yes. I thought they were like sort of regular size swatches.
No, they're Joe-sized.
Look at them.
Yeah, Tim has developed an obsession with what they call the maxi swatch, as you can see, and now has quite the collection of them. And I think he has more at home.
Tim. Oh.
I do keep telling them we only have so much wall space.
Yeah.
It's like, Tim, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean,
literally.
we have a photo of Tim lying down in between them. I think are they longer than him?
They are. I mean, these are 2 meters.
Yeah, they're longer than most people.
So we have the view.
Yeah. Which is very cool. That's a nice shot of my car, actually.
Yeah, actually really
bit
is.
of remaining snow on there. Awesome, cool. Well, I think this is a good time to wrap the video. Firstly, massive thanks to both of you for having me down and sort of instigating this parking.
Well, let's not leave it so long next time until you have to store a car for you to come back.
Well, yeah, I do feel a bit bad about that. And I will be back in the next couple of weeks because I've got my Edelweiss wheels going back on the car. There's a whole story behind those wheels, which I haven't really talked about yet, so that will come in good time. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have a great Christmas if this goes out before Christmas, or I hope you've had a great Christmas if this goes out after Christmas. And thanks again to Tim, obviously, because this is fundamentally
his place. Yep,
yes,
it is.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Take it easy, and I'll see you at another video very soon. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.